What is up everyone, my name is Jasper and in this video we're going to be taking a look at how I'm planning to scale my website building business in the coming 5 years. So for those who don't know, I personally own 5 websites and 3 of them are in English and 2 of them are in Dutch. And I'm planning to build a lot more of the English websites because these are simply more valuable and they make a lot more money than the Dutch ones. Now that I've seen some success with my very first website, which did around $8,000 in just 1 month, I'm really starting to look at the options and see how I can grow this as large as it can possibly be. Now for this plan, I'm not planning on just working on this one website. In fact, I'm planning on building a lot of websites. Now I'm planning to build multiple websites, not just because it makes more money, but also because it's diversifying my income streams. If you've been following my channel, you know that the December core update in 2020 hit me extremely hard and I lost about 80% of my traffic. And with 80% of traffic loss, of course, you'll also lose a lot of money. And when you're depending on this income to pay the bills and to just live off of, then it's very important that you are diversified and that one setback on one side does not financially ruin you. So with that in mind, I have created a plan for myself, and this is a very long-term plan and it's going to be taking a lot of time, a lot of effort and a lot of hard work. But in the end, it should be worth it, and I'm really enjoying building these websites, so I don't really mind having to put in a lot of work. So what we're going to do in this video is first I'm just going to tell you the plans, and after the plans and the goals I'm going to share some of the numbers and the metrics to see how this will all work out and if it's actually going to be profitable in the long run. So as of now I own 5 websites and 3 of them are in English, and this is really what I want to focus on in the coming few years. I started these 2 Dutch sites primarily to see if they will be worth it in the end and if there's actually traffic coming to them, and so far there is some traffic but not really the numbers I'm looking for. So whereas an English site would maybe get 30,000 page views, my Dutch site maybe only get 3,000. And 3,000 page views is a lot, don't get me wrong, but it's not something to live off of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build as many English websites as I possibly can. And this part right now is really going to be just dreaming and setting some goals and hoping for what I'm going to achieve in the future. But this is what I will be working on in the coming few years. So what I'm envisioning right now is a very large team. So maybe a team of 100 writers that are constantly producing great quality content. And maybe a team that's doing search analysis for me. So that team will be finding the best articles that my writers can write about. And on top of that, I might even want to have a team that's buying and selling websites, because if you have 100 writers and they can all produce, say, 3 articles a week, that's 300 articles a week or 1,200 articles a month. That's a lot. So you'll be producing a lot of new websites, and selling some of them off is probably the best choice because you have to maintain all the other websites. And when you're getting into really high number of websites, maintaining all of them and giving them all the attention they need and deserve will be very difficult. So really what I'm envisioning is just one very large company that just does everything. It's just a whole process and a whole oiled machine that's just pumping out great quality websites and great quality content on the regular. Now as of now I only have 2 writers that are writing for me as freelancers. They are producing about 1 article every week and they cost me 2 cents a word, and they're producing great quality content. On top of that, I also have 1 writer from Fiverr and 1 writer from Upwork, and both are also writing for 2 cents a word, and they are also producing great quality content. So I currently have 4 writers, which is nowhere near the 100 I'm shooting for. But it's a start, so please don't get me wrong in this video as if I'm bragging or anything. This is really just what I'm planning to work towards. And the whole point of this is to build a lot of websites. And these websites, I know that if you're pumping out a lot of websites on the regular, some will of course fail or not bring the results that I hoped. But in general, I hope to create a very steady cash flow that allows me to live very comfortably. And that's really what I'm going to work towards. And on top of that, when you've got a lot of websites that are making very good money, you can sell all of them off for a very high multiple. As of now, the multiple is around 40 times your monthly income. So just imagine having 10 websites that are earning $1,000 a month. That is $40,000 for just the 1 website. And if you've got 10 of them, that's almost $500,000 that you can just cash out. Now, of course, I'm very new to this whole setting up this whole process, or buying and selling websites, or just in general running this whole business aspect, but I'm willing to give it my best shot. So aside from the writers and the search analysis teams, I would also like to have a team that's focusing on social media. And this is something tricky because social media is sometimes relevant and sometimes it's not. So social medias like Instagram really aren't that helpful for a website, and Facebook has been scaling back on helping bloggers as well. But social medias like Pinterest, they still have a lot to offer, even though they are also scaling back. So this is really something I have to see in the future if it's still going to be worth it. But as of now, having a dedicated Pinterest team for a very visual niche, I do think that there's a lot of benefit in that. So what my ultimate goal would be is to be able to pump out 1 or 2 websites every single month. So what my current plan is to just build a website up to 100 posts or articles and just have it sit there, have it gain some time, have it gain some authority, and just let it sit there, see what it will do. And in the meantime, while that site is aging, I'm starting the next one, and this one will be built up to 100 articles as well. And once that's done, we'll have that one sit and go on to the next one. So in the first year, I can build 4 to 6 new websites, and after the very first year, most of these new websites have gained some time and some traction. And from there, it's going to be the decision whether I'm going to continue with it or I'm going to drop it. And of course, as time continues and I've got more websites that are bringing in more revenue, I can scale up the production, I can scale up the number of websites we're producing, and I can just scale everything up. So I want to bring this to the point where I can maybe produce a website every week or every 2 weeks and just give the proper attention. But I also realized that every single website I build will take away more time from the next ones I could build. Because even though I'm building a website and I'm letting it sit, if it shows some potential, that means that I'm going to go to double down on it. So say the first year I could produce 5 new websites, maybe the second year I can only produce 1 or 2 new websites because the 5 that I built in the year before are showing signs of potential. So those really could need some more attention to grow them out even more. So that's really some things I have to weigh off, but as of now I'm not at that stage yet. I can't really see in the future, see what sites will work and which sites won't. But that's something to keep in mind. So this really is my big plan for the coming few years. This is what I'm going to be working towards, and I'm going to give it my all. But let's also dive into the computer and just see at the numbers, see if the numbers work out and if I'm actually going to be profitable and if it's worth my time. So if you've been following the channel, you know that I have 5 websites, and 3 of them are in English and 2 of them are in Dutch. Now for my multiple year plan, I'm going to leave the Dutch websites out of it because these are simply not getting the results I would have wanted. So currently I have 3 English websites, so let's just quickly take a look at them and how we're going to grow them. The very first one, of course, is my English beauty website. This is my main website, and as of now it has 377 articles on there. The plan for this website is to just continue to update it with 5 articles every single month. I think this is a good number simply because I'm really scraping the bottom of the barrel, not just yet, but I'm starting to get close to it. So these 5 articles every month are basically just to keep the site updated and to just not let it grow old. Secondly, I've got my English accessory website, and this website currently has 40 articles on there, and the plan for this one is to grow to 100 articles. And my third website is in the consumptions niche. The plan is once again to grow to 100 articles, and I currently have 32 articles on there. So as for the number of articles I'm planning to publish every year, so for this example I'm going to take the first 5 years into account, and in year 1 I'm planning to produce 40 articles every single month. And this comes down to a total of 120 articles every quarter or 480 articles every year. This is a very large number of articles, of course, especially because at this stage I don't have all that much money to invest. So I'm going to be writing a lot of these myself, and the other part will be written by my writers. So that's really why the numbers of articles is on the lower side right now. But as we move into year 2, I'm trying to scale this up. So in year 2, I expect to have at least some more earnings from the other 2 websites coming in. And with that, I'm planning on producing 60 articles every month with 180 quarterly or 720 yearly. And every single year, you will see that sites are growing. At this stage, the consumption and accessory websites will both be 2 years old at the very least. And I do expect them to bring in quite a lot of revenue at this point, at least 1,000 or more. So with that money in mind, I can scale up much quicker. So I'm planning to produce 100 articles every month in year 3, and that comes out to 300 quarterly and 1200 every year. And from there on, we can see that the growth will just be much quicker. So in year 4, the plan is for 175 articles every month. It comes down to a total of 525 quarterly and 2100 yearly. And in the 5th year, the goal is to produce 250 articles every single month. And this once again comes down to 700 quarterly and 3000 articles yearly. Now this is a very large goal and it will cost a lot of money. But keep in mind that in year 5, I will have a lot of websites that are aged and that are bringing in a lot of money, hopefully of course. But those will be able to fund this plan. So looking at the timeline of year 1, you can see that site 1 will get 5 articles every single month, which comes down to a total of 60 in the whole year, and that will leave us with 437 articles at the end of year 1. Then when looking at site 2, this is going to be a little bit quicker. We're going to be adding 25 articles to it in the very first 2 months, and then 10 articles in month 3. And from there on, I'm just going to let this one sit. It's at that point it's at 100 articles. We'll just leave it sit for the next 9 months and see where it will get us. At the same time, I'm also publishing articles to site number 3, which is the consumptions website. So the very first 2 months we'll be adding 10 articles to it, and then month 3, where we're publishing less articles on the accessory side, we can scale it up to 25. And in month 4 we'll have it at 23, which gives us a grand total of 100 articles at the end of month 4. Once again, from here we're going to let it sit, and this is time to move on to site number 4. This is going to be a completely new site. I don't have a niche as of yet, but I do have a lot of potential topics. So looking at that site, we're going to be adding 12 articles in the month that we are stopping to produce for the consumption site. And from there on, every single article will be poured into this new website, aside from the 5 that I'm publishing to my big site. So 35 articles to the new site in month 5 and 6, and then another 18 to round it off to another 100 articles for this website. From there, once again, we're going to let it sit, and then it's time to work on site number 5. And here it's just the same story. We're going to produce 35 articles a month roughly to 100 articles in total. And then it's time for site number 6, which we can build up to a total of 92 articles. So that's a lot of articles that I'm going to be adding, and it's going to be a pretty difficult task, but it should pay out in the end. Now, with that in mind, let's just look at the costs of all of this, because these are a lot of articles and it's going to be costing me a lot of money. So with that being said, let's just look at, this is right here is the table of how many articles I'm going to produce. We've been over this. And right here you can see how much it's going to cost. So for year 1, the monthly cost will roughly be $1,600 a month. And these figures are based off of a 2,000 word article. On average, I'm producing 2,000 words per article. And as of now, all my writers are writing for me at 2 cents a word. So with those metrics, we're coming down to a total of 1,600 monthly costs for writers. And that comes down to a total of just over 19,000 a year, which is quite a lot of money, of course. And we'll go over the numbers of how much I'm going to make shortly. But right now, year 1, roughly $19,000 of costs. Now you can see that this is going to be scaling up as we scale up the number of articles we're producing. And even to the point where in year 5, I will be spending $120,000 on articles, roughly, of course. Now this doesn't take in mind that I also write the articles myself, so the cost will be down by a bit. But that's mainly for the very first 2 years. In year 3, 4 and 5, I expect to have a team of editors and VAs that will do most of the editing for me. But as of now, right now, I'm going to be writing my own articles as well. So you can maybe cut this with about 30%. But just looking at these numbers, spending $120,000 a year on content alone is kind of scary, to be honest. But I'm sure it will work out. It's just a very scary number at this time. Spending $10,000 every single month, it's a lot of money. Now moving into the expectations of how much I'm going to make. With the 6 websites that I currently have planned in the very first year, we'll just look at year 2, the income of year 2, because as I said before, I'm not sure what I will do after year 2, if I'm going to start a lot of new websites or if I'm going to double down on the ones I've already started. So right here we got the total number of articles per website, and then I'm going for an average of 400 page views per article. So that comes down for most sites to 40,000 page views every month, because most of them will have 100 articles, but we'll have the two outliers, the one with 400 plus articles and the one with 90 articles. And if we're taking into account an RPM of $16, you'll see that we are going to be in the green. So let's just look back at year 2. The cost per month will be $2,400, and on average, approximately, I will be making just under $6,000. Now, I am taking a very low estimate right here. 400 page views per month is not something I'm seeing right now. My English beauty site did a lot more when it was not hit by the core update. And an RPM of 16 I usually already get with ads alone. So on top of that, we can maybe see more page views per article and more money because we also have affiliate products or maybe even online courses. So the numbers right here are on the lower end, but they do paint a pretty realistic picture, I think, because not every site will be doing very great, and there will probably be a lot of sites that will perform pretty poorly. I'm not sure what the RPMs in my advertising networks will be for these niches. I'm just not sure yet, so I think this is a pretty fair guess. And just for fun, I looked at year 5. So in year 5, I'm going to add a total of 3,000 articles in the entire year, and with these metrics, 3,000 articles would come down to a total extra monthly income of $48,000. So if that's something I'm going to be working towards, it makes me very happy to see that this will be paying itself off pretty easily. So as of now, those are some pretty optimistic numbers, and I'm going to do my best to make them work out. But that's really one of the main reasons why I love building these websites so much, because the potential there is pretty much unlimited. The cost, you can keep them down to as low as $200 a month if you're writing everything yourself. But just hiring a few writers really isn't that expensive for what it can deliver. So with that all said, these are my plans for the coming 5 years. I will be very busy with them, and of course these really aren't my only plans. I'm also planning, of course, to grow out this YouTube channel to help more of you guys, and I might even dabble in other things. But for now, this is my website plan. This is going to be the main thing I'm working on for the coming few years. And looking at the numbers that they could produce, it gets me extremely excited. So I would really love to hear what you guys think about these plans, because they are pretty ambitious, and I might have forgotten some things or haven't taken other things into account. So I'm curious to see what you guys think of these plans, and let me know in the comments, please. So if you enjoyed the video, I want to thank you for watching. If you really enjoyed it and learned something from this, or maybe you've got inspired, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.